freedom fighters, Merry Christmas. Can we say that again? Or no happy holidays around here. But this is going to be kind of a different kind of video. We got to lighten up the mood around here. There's been too much doom and gloom, and, we got to cheer up. And, this is my favorite time of the year. Not the cold and all that. I hate the weather. I'm more of a, whether it's spring or fall, if the temperature is coming up or going down, as long as it's in the 60, 70 degrees and sunny range, everything's alright. But it's the lights, it's the music, the nostalgia, I guess you get from your childhood and stuff like that, the movies, it's the atmosphere. So I wanted to talk about, like the meaning of Christmas. We all know it's not about the fat, jolly man who brings presents. It's about Jesus and his birthday. So, I kind of want to talk about the real meaning of Christmas and get into some topics. And don't even start with the, don't you know that it's a pagan holiday and you're not a real Christian if you celebrate Christmas, and, don't you know, and then school me on, like, whatever ancient weather patterns and how it couldn't have possibly have been in winter and all this. I've been through it all, but even if it wasn't in winter, and he's looking down at us like, oh, you fools, this isn't my birthday and all that, he knows what you're celebrating. He knows what's in your heart. So as long as you're celebrating him, I'm sure he's fine with it. And then, I had a dog that I rescued. He was a rescue dog, but we never knew his birthday. He was given to us because they were just pretty much getting ready to throw him out or bring him to a pound to be put down. So we took him in, and, we never knew his birthday. And, we just made up the day that we got him. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And, again, I doubt he minded it at all. It's kind of like, hey, he got the steak and, had a meat. You took a day out of the year to celebrate him. And that's what it's about. So as long as you're celebrating in the right mind and you're doing it for the right reasons, I'm sure God is fine with it, as long as we didn't get it on the exact day. But, anyway, back on topic. This video is almost for the non-believers as much as it is for the believers. It's for whoever needs to hear it, really. But the message is going to be, God is speaking to you. And I kind of wanted to go through some things that's recently happened to me and some, other things. But, so, just starting off here, I recently did a John Mark video. You can look it up. It's, probably a couple weeks old now that I recently did it. But, John Mark, for some reason, has been on my mind for the last couple months. And he's actually popped up in my mind, throughout the years since his disappearance. If you don't know what happened to him and all that, go watch that video. I'm not going to explain it here. But, anyway, I could have dropped that video at any time. It just seemed weird to me for me to just, pop up and make that video without, any context. So with the content I recently have been putting out, I thought, this makes sense to drop that video now. John Mark, it makes sense because I think I was talking about, other right-wing possibilities or people who could have been controlled opposition or whatnot. But then, as soon as I dropped that video, he miraculously appears days later. So now John Mark has a new channel called John Victor. So, is it all coincidences? Who knows? That just struck me, as weird, and a long line of weird things. But, for as long as I can remember, I've also had a weird, fascination with time. And for a long time, at least like back from middle school or high school for sure, I used to see 11:11 on the clock a lot. And I've looked deep into that and like numerological things where people say numbers mean certain things and all this stuff, and 11:11 is like a special time. um it's all ones on the clock, and people believe there's some kind of message there and all this stuff. And I've always seen other times too. Some stuff I'm not going to mention because it's closer to me, has meanings that I don't really want to explain. But sometimes I'll just get the feeling to look at my phone or something, or check the time, and I'm like, what is that time? And then it'll be like someone close to me, their birthday or something like that. And then one time I was looking at the clock and it was 2:23, and at the time things were really hectic. And when have things not been hectic in the last couple of years, to be honest? But I'm like, is this God giving me a message to go pick up a bulk pack of 223? Is this what he's trying to tell me? So I'm pretty sure I did, and I can't even remember what happened. But prices have gone through the roof since then, so I guess it was a good omen at the very least. But now let's get into some really crazy stuff that's been going on lately. But so something happened to my cousin recently. And every day when I hit my knees and pray, or every night when I clasp my hands together and pray, I pray for all my family and everyone close to me. And for some reason, my cousin, who is far away from me, it's not like we see each other a lot. We vacation there, they vacation here from time to time throughout our lives. We've seen each other, but she's hundreds of miles away. Multiple hours away. But for some reason, she kept coming to mind. And I meant to, I was like, man, I need to call her, or, tell my parents to check in on her or something like that. But, life gets in the way, and you just go to another day. And then she popped up in my mind again that night during prayers. And I was like, man, I really gotta, figure out what's going on with that. And again, life got in the way. And it was like 2 or 3 days later that I wake up one morning and they're like, my parents said, do you know what's going on with your cousin? And I'm like, no. Well, she's been in the ICU for the last month or so, and her liver is failing, and she's been waiting for a donor, and they finally got one, and now she's being rushed into the ER to have a emergency liver transplant. And I'm just like, wow, man, that's crazy. But good news, it looks like everything's going good with that. The liver took hold, and she's been doing pretty good. She got released from the hospital and all that, so things are looking good there. But yeah, I've heard plenty of stories from people with weird stuff like that. And when their family members pass or something, they'll be like, oh yeah, my dad was a big fan of bears or something. Like a bear was his spirit animal. And when he passed, a bear came out of the woods and sat, right in front of my porch. And they were at the door, and they said, well, we could just kind of blank stare at each other for 30 minutes. And he just kind of got the message that everything was going to be okay, and that they moved on, and, they're going to need to move on, and, things are going to be all right. They just got that sense of calm from that. Or they'll say oh, their sister was a fan of birds, and, but she really liked the hawk, and she had hawk posters, and she collected hawk figurines or whatever. And then one day there was some tragic accident or something, and their sister passed, and then, after the funeral or whatever, that a hawk circled their house all day long. And, those are the kind of things, like, how do you explain that? Um, and I'd like to hear your guys' stories if you have anything like that. But, here's another wild one. I had a dream one time about going to this car show, and I had a feeling that I was going to meet a girl there. And it was a very clear dream. Right down to the exact vehicle with a specific sticker on it. And I went there, and that vehicle was there with that very same sticker on it. And she was there. So yeah, I pursued her. And I got her number and stuff like that, but nothing ever really happened with that. It never really went anywhere, which was, pretty crazy. That kind of messed with my head a little bit. I was like, that's kind of like a tease, or, that was kind of cruel, but, what else was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to be like, hey, before we just, fade out of each other's lives and never talk to each other again, mention that, I saw this exact moment in my dream, from your vehicle to the sticker on the glass and all that. That's probably how you end up with a restraining order. So, yeah, I didn't go that route. But, yeah, I mean, and then I thought maybe it was something else. Like, maybe I was supposed to save her for something or help her, but I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get the vibe from the dream, like she was in danger or anything like that. Because, I've had other dreams before where, I've seen a road actually. And the whole thing just had this ominous, like, dark feeling to it. And, like, I think there was even, like, scary music playing in the background. And I remember just like, oh, I'm not going on that road today. And I even called up some family and stuff who was around that area, because I remember what that road was. And I said, man, I wouldn't travel down there. I just got a bad feeling about that. And I can't remember if anything did end up happening there, but, yeah, I've had many dreams like that have turned out to be, stuff. And I had one dream I couldn't understand at the time, so random. And it was about whales. And I was either in the water with the whales or I was looking through glass. I can't remember, but I was looking from a underwater perspective at these whales. And I almost got a feeling of, like, distress and, like, sadness, or like something was wrong. And, the whales were, like, crying and making their whale noises. And, I was like, something's wrong here. And I woke up and I'm just like, man, that's so weird. And, like, what does that mean? Well, then later I'm looking at the news and they said these killer whales, which were the exact whales that I was looking at, drowned their trainer at SeaWorld. And I was just like, man, that's crazy. And it's like, what, and it's like nothing I could do with it. Like, what was that supposed to be? And it's not like I saw, if I saw, like, the sticker, the logo for, whatever, California, SeaWorld, or wherever they're at, Florida or something. It's not like, even if I saw that, what am I going to do with that information? Like, call up the San Diego, or that's not SeaWorld, that's the San Diego Zoo, but, or, the Florida SeaWorld, and be like, hey, I had a dream that, something was going to happen with your whales, and, and that's how you get black bagged and thrown away to a black site or something. So, yeah, I didn't go that route either, but, coming up on the end of this video, I just wanted to, let you know that God's speaking to you in many ways. And even if you're a non-believer, I mean, how do you explain this stuff? Is this, coincidences? Is it matrix glitches or something? Deja vu, which I can do a whole nother video on. But, yeah, anyway, Merry Christmas. And you know what I always say, we are on our own. Well, we're not on our own. God is with us. But get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.